I married a bartender after a drunken night, then found out he was the son of a billion-dollar empire. I woke up hungover, half-naked, and legally married to a man I didn't even remember kissing. What made it worse? He looked way too smug about it. And gorgeous. And possibly dangerous to everything I ever believed about myself. The sunlight slicing through the cracked blinds felt like divine punishment. My mouth was cotton, my head a war zone. But the real explosion, lying beside me, shirtless, tattoos on full display, was a man I had never seen before. Correction. A man I didn't remember seeing. "You drool in your sleep," he said, propped up on one elbow, eyes like melted chocolate and a grin too cocky for someone who apparently married a stranger last night. I blinked. "Excuse me?" He held up a glittery Vegas-style wedding certificate. "Congratulations, Mr. Chun. You're officially my husband." My stomach did a double somersault. I sat up too fast and regretted it instantly. "Wait, what? No. No. Oh, don't worry. I'm not exactly the clingy type." He stretched, his abs infuriatingly perfect. "We can get it annulled. Unless you're into staying married to charming, sexy bartenders you meet in downtown speakeasies." Bartender, right? My best friend Alex had dragged me out for my birthday. I remembered tequila, laughter, music, then blackout. "Who are you?" I croaked. "Name's Jordan. Jordan LeBlanc. And you, apparently, are my spontaneous husband. But hey, silver lining, you were very enthusiastic about it." I buried my face in my hands. This couldn't be happening. I was a corporate strategist, type A control freak, the kind of guy who schedules lunch dates 2 weeks in advance. I didn't do spontaneity, much less drunk marriages with dangerously hot bartenders. Except I did. The plan was simple. Annulment, goodbye, and then pretend it never happened. Clean, professional, detached. But Jordan wasn't simple. He showed up the next evening smiling, holding greasy takeout and claiming I owed him dinner. I should have said no. Instead, I let him in. And that's how it started. Takeout Thursdays, sarcastic texts, long walks in Central Park that became emotional landmines. He told stories with the kind of reckless honesty I envied. He made me laugh. He saw through my polished walls like they were glass. And too started craving the sound of his voice more than my morning espresso. He was chaos. I was order. But somehow we worked, until everything fell apart. It happened on the night I finally let him meet my friends. I'd spent hours psyching myself up. This was big. I'd never introduced a guy before, especially not one I married by accident. But Jordan had earned it. He wore a dark turtleneck, looking less bartender and more like he belonged on the cover of GQ. My heart thudded when I saw him. Dinner was a blur. Laughter. Wine. Alex even whispered to me, "He's the real deal, huh?" And then someone mentioned investments. Jordan tensed. One of my colleagues joked, "Your man's easy on the eyes, but don't bet on his net worth." I laughed nervously. But Jordan? He smiled politely and said, "I wouldn't bet on yours either, Richard. Especially not with how your firm stock just dropped 12%. Everyone stared. I blinked. "Jordan, how do you know that?" He shrugged. "I keep track. Occupational hazard." "What kind of bartender tracks the stock market?" He looked at me for a long moment, and then the truth fell out of his mouth like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "I'm not just a bartender." Turns out, Jordan LeBlanc was the only son of Augustus LeBlanc, real estate tycoon, billionaire, owner of half the buildings in Manhattan. And I'd married him thinking he poured drinks for a living. I stormed out of that restaurant like the table was on fire. My head spun with questions. Was I just a game? A rebellion against his rich daddy? Was I the wild story he'd tell at brunch? He followed me into the street. "Eli, wait. You lied to me." "I didn't. You assumed. I never said I was just a bartender. You let me think you were broke. You let me fall for you thinking we came from the same world." He stepped closer, his voice quieter. "I wanted to know if someone could love me without the name, without the money, without the legacy. You did. That's not fair." "No, it's not. But neither is pretending I don't love you, Eli." My breath caught. I wanted to stay angry. I wanted to yell, throw something, walk away. But the truth was I didn't care about the money. I cared that he'd hid a piece of himself. And worse, I cared so much it terrified me. We didn't speak for 2 weeks. I buried myself in spreadsheets, ignored his messages, pretended I was fine. Then one morning, there was a package on my doorstep. No note, just a tiny, hand-carved wooden box. Inside, a folded napkin from the bar where we met. Written in messy pen, "You said, I feel safest with you, before you kissed me. I did too. I still do." I cried. Then I ran to the speakeasy, to the same barstool where we first met. And there he was, behind the counter, eyes red-rimmed, polishing a glass that didn't need polishing. "You came back," he whispered. I nodded, breathless. "I don't want perfect. I want you, the messy, confusing, frustrating you. Rich or poor, bartender or billionaire's son." He smiled slowly, hopefully, and reached for my hand. "I still owe you a proper honeymoon," he said. I leaned in and kissed him like I remembered this time. People said we were ridiculous. A marriage born out of tequila and bad decisions. But I say fate sometimes wears ridiculous disguises. Because in a city of 9 million people, I accidentally married a stranger and found the love I never thought I deserved. And maybe that's the thing about love. It doesn't care how it starts. It only cares that you choose to stay. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.